Welcome to AAPC Social Hour for July 12th. We are at mid-July already, 2023. Thanks for being with us. I'm AAPC Alex McKinley from the National Office. We've got one person watching so far. Uh, it just might be the four of us, Stephanie, Rita, and our one person. Who are you, one person? Let us know. Stephanie Thebarge and Rita Genovese from the National Advisory Board. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing
How you
great.
doing, Alex?
Good. So glad to have you guys with us today. Rita out in Philly. And
It's hot.
yeah. And Stephanie in Maine, who is like, she's dying too from heat.
We need an AC. The humidity is killing me.
Yep. Yep, and it's hot out here. This is like first world problems, but I had a few sprinklers busted, and so was working out in the yard last night trying to get those going, and I'm just not that handy, you guys. I need a lawn like Rita. This pavement right in front of the house.
Say, did you mean a pavement? Or as we call it in Philadelphia, a sidewalk?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about sprinklers and mowing. When was the last time you mowed? You've never mowed a lawn, have you?
No way. I plant, but we don't have a lawn.
Yeah. Stephanie, when was the last time you mowed a lawn?
My husband mowed it last night.
Oh, okay.
I don't
All
mow the lawn. Come on now. We mowed our weeds last night, I should say.
Oh, there you go. Well, lady,
we have a lovely clover lawn. That's what it is. So
clover. Lucky. Yes.
Yeah.
You're trying to get those 4-leaf clovers. Well, we've got Lady from Orange, California.
Hi,
Hey, Lady. So
good
to see
Jessica
you.
Dobbs too. Hi, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica Dobbs, she says, I'm going to read it because Stephanie isn't going to read this, but 2 of my fave NAB members is what she says. Jessica, who is on the NAB as well. Hope you're doing well, Jessica. And let's see who we got here. Oh boy, here's a name from LA. Forgive me, I'm going to try my best. Mel James Marica Riviera. Stephanie, do you see that one?
I do see that one.
How did I do you think?
I think you did good. Yeah.
All right.
From
LA. Gail Franks from Norfolk, Virginia, up near you guys ish. Everything's so condensed there, right? You guys
far
can
from me.
It is it?
No, not really.
Oh. We've got Amanda from Royce City, Texas. Amanda, let us know, where is Royce City? I can't Google right now, but let us know, like, what's the closest major city to Royce City out in Texas there. Let's see who. Kathy Parker's from Buffalo. Hey, Kathy, thanks for being with us. Oh, Renee, our friend from the publishing team here at the National Office, talking about mowing. She says she mows her she mows 5 of her 10 acres, so she must split it with her husband. That's a lot. I'm sure she's got one of those fancy riding mower things.
Yeah.
Jennifer Parks, sweltering hot in Oklahoma. That just seems to be the trend, you guys. We're officially in summer. After a wet, we had a very wet winter and spring here, so it was bound to catch up with us. Kashana Hector Levy from Connecticut. Hey, Kashana, thanks for being with us. Our friend Beverly Johnson. Good to see you, Beverly. Gee, so many great people. Oh, Rita, you may know this person. Patricia from Philly. Pat Stewart Williams. Does that ring a bell?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at Pat's profile pic right now, and it's got this beautiful painting, which is not very Philly-like. It looks very Zen-ish and just like, yeah, just very relaxing. But Pat, were you at um, the Philly
Symposium.
conference? Let us know in the comments. So Rita had me come out with some of our amazing friends to Rita. What was it? The Philly conference? Is that
So
the
it was
right way
our
to say it?
Greater Philadelphia chapter
Okay.
annual symposium.
All right.
So we had some great speakers, and Alex was one of them. And I've been waiting for many years for him to visit the city. So I was very excited.
And Rita is like the best hostess ever. And
Aw.
here's the thing, like when people come to Salt Lake in Utah, there are things to see, but it's so spread out. And it's I don't know. I there's a lot of great history in Utah, but to go to Philly and walk the streets with Rita, so much amazing food and so much to see, so much history. Stephanie, is your area like that up in Maine, or is it more spread out like I'm talking about here?
Well, it depends. I mean, it definitely is more centrally in Portland. Is like the hot spots and stuff. But when you like, I just came back from the tippy top of Maine this weekend, and it was yeah, a lot of farmland, a lot of potatoes, and yes, way up north, there's not much up there, but it's beautiful countryside.
Oh, I bet.
So
I bet.
tidbit, Maine is my happy place. So Stephanie is aware of that, but I've been visiting Maine since my friendship with Pam. Warren started a long time ago, and it's one of my happy places. So I enjoy Maine when I want to get away from the city, but I'm true blue city, and anybody comes to visit me, and Alex will tell you, you better have some great walking shoes.
Yep, absolutely. But it is well worth every step. Had a great time. And I didn't know this. Stephanie, you might know this, but the Philly chapter has the rights to the Oscar Awards, the statue. See, I earned a little
Oh,
Oscar,
see.
and I didn't realize that.
Oh,
Like, you must be the only organization outside of the Oscars to be able to give those out, but I earned one, so I'm grateful for that. A treasured
did you have an
trophy.
acceptance speech when you accepted it?
Well, I mean, if you talk about my hour or whatever of talking, maybe, yeah. But it was a great time. What a great chapter. What a great town to be in for a few days. All right. We have some fun things to talk about. First, I want to show off my shirt that I'm wearing. I don't wear a t-shirt often in during social hour, but when I do, it's my AAPC t-shirts. I have more AAPC swag, you guys, and my family's just like, do you buy any real clothes?
You don't have to.
But if you were at HealthCon in Nashville, you remember the t-shirt guy, and that was fun. I wish we could have made a bunch of them and sold them, but to our friends watching. But it's kind of one of those fun perks of being there live. So a lot of cool shirts, and so I got the Rooster shirt. Yeah. I never wanted a Rooster shirt or felt like I needed one, but until I saw that, and I thought I got to get that. Well, guys, I'm going to bring in Lee from Healthcare Business Monthly and Janelle Olderkirk. They're coming in right now. There is Lee. Hey, Lee.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. And we've got Janelle with us. Janelle Olderkirk.
Hi,
How are you, Janelle?
doing great.
Thanks so much for being with us. Have
Yeah,
you ever, you can be honest and I won't be offended. Have you ever watched AAPC Social Hour?
I have a little bit, but
Okay.
not very much.
Okay.
And speaking is just not my cup of tea, so I'm going out of the box today.
All right. Well, you look comfortable and you look happy. You don't look stressed at all.
No, I'm pretty relaxed. I'm at home. I
Okay.
normally work in an office, but I went home for this to get out of the hustle and bustle for a little bit. So
All right. Well, thanks so much for doing that. Now, where is home? Where are you from, Janelle?
I'm in North Platte, Nebraska. kind of west center of Nebraska. So right
Okay.
off of I-80, if anybody knows that. So
All right. And has that always been home, that area?
Nebraska has always been home, but North Platte, I've been here just over 10 years now. So
Okay. All right. Well, Janelle, we have you on because your interview in Healthcare Business Monthly, the July edition,
yes.
caught my eye. So we want to learn a little bit more about you and your journey. But to kick this off, because it is AAPC's 35th birthday this year, I want to know when or what was your first interaction with AAPC? When was the first time you saw the name, the logo, and that first interaction? Tell us about that.
It started way back at my beginning, which isn't that long ago, about 4 years ago, when my supervisor asked if I would take over the billing and coding. The gal that was currently doing our billing and coding was going to move up to a different position. And so I agreed to do that. And then we had to sit down. How are we going to train me? You know, and we looked at lots of different options. And AAPC looked like the best option for me. I looked at the course. Some of the courses were like 2-day course, and I'm like, there's no way I can learn this in 2 days and feel comfortable. And so I took the full COC, the 4-month course, and did that on my weekends and evenings during that time. So that was really my first interaction with AAPC.
What was your role in this office prior to this offer to take over billing and coding?
Previously, I had started the job doing claim denials. And so I was doing all the claim denials and rejections, which also kind of leads into some billing and coding.
Yeah, steps into that world.
Right,
Yeah.
because you've got to know some of that when you're doing the claim denials. And I was always going to our biller and coder asking questions. So I was starting to learn a lot from doing the claim denials. And so when I got that opportunity, I was ecstatic to start something new.
Well, I'm going to step back even further because I want to step back to the point that you're not in healthcare. So was that claims denial job your first job in that facility? Or
that was
clinic?
my first job at that facility. I hadn't really been in healthcare other than dental. I managed a dental office prior to that, and the dentist I worked for decided to retire. So then I was out hunting for new jobs, and I had a couple other jobs in between. And the administrator at the time at the surgery center saw my confidence and my abilities to take that role on, and I fit right into that role and didn't have, any issues. It felt really comfortable doing the claims denials.
So Janelle, you may see online, there are many people who are like, I'm trying to find that first job as a coder, and you kind of fell into it.
Yes.
But I think your experience says to me, we talk about this a lot in the group, that just trying to get your foot in the door in any role within a healthcare office facility, even it might be administrative or secretarial, things like that, just to get in, to be around the coders and that process, so they know you and can see your work ethic.
Yes, definitely. And thankful that I did get this opportunity to expand my knowledge and start a new role. So,
well, in your interview in the magazine, which is on page 58, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. So this interview highlights your certification, your CASCC credential, which is ambulatory surgery. Is that right?
Correct.
What led to that?
Well, first, AAPC had a promotion where if you purchased the exam, you got the class part of that. And I was really contemplating it at the time because I was like, I've only been doing this for about 2 years. Do I have enough knowledge to take the exam, go for the CASCC or not? And I took the plunge. I'm like, it's a good deal. I'll take it. Even if I don't pass the test, I'm still going to learn something from the course. And so I'm very glad that I did do that. I literally went through the course multiple times, probably 3 to 4 times, just really getting familiar with it. And it was much easier that I had been coding for that time because there was a lot of stuff that I could relate to now. And there were some things I realized I've been coding wrong because you just get set in your ways. So taking that course really helped me better for the surgery center I work for and feel more confident in what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, and I think your list of credentials after your name is a little bit different than the most AAPC members. Many,
Yes.
or most, I'd say 90% probably start with the CPC. Do you have any intentions of going back and taking that? Do you see that helping you, or are there other credentials that you feel like may further your career?
I have really thought about the CPC a lot, just being involved in AAPC and seeing all the other opportunities out there. I'm really specialized in the surgery center, which, I took the COC, which is a lot of outpatient, but when you're not using it, you start to forget it. And it was seeing a lot of other opportunities. I've thought about it, but I don't know if I'm ready to do the CPC or not. I am kind of comfortable in my role, but I'm always looking for further education. I also looking at a lot of the other specialty courses. I'd probably be more geared to go out and take some more specialty courses versus the CPC.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Rita, Stephanie, do you have questions for Janelle? No? All right. Now, Janelle, what's next for you? So you mentioned the possibility of other certifications. What do you think that next certification would be that would help you in the next step of your healthcare journey?
I've kind of been looking at the anesthesia. I do code and bill for anesthesia as well. Our system does do a lot for you, but I've been contemplating the anesthesia as maybe a next one. And
Okay.
I was so tempted with the 35-year thing in June to spend the money and have access to all of them for 4 years. Let me tell you, that was tempting, but I had to say, there's no way you can do it. I do have 3 children and they keep me busy too. And I had to make sure I take time for myself and not step in that yet.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm sure there will be a time when where that door will open up again. And
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
can take as many trainings as possible. Sounds like a torture device to take a bunch of
Right.
AAPC exams.
Do you
But you'd
take?
learn a ton.
Are you doing the guides? Are you using the guides? Are you doing the courses? What is your favorite?
When I did the CAC or the CASCC, I actually did the course and I'm like, I don't know if I'm comfortable yet. So about 2 months before I took the test, I also purchased the guide and went through that as well. And I think that was just a reiteration of everything. And I'm glad I did that too and marked my books. I think one of my struggle is my current job. I don't use books. I use the online information. And so to have to purchase books and go back to that so I could prepare for my exam was a little bit of a struggle. You know, I had to refresh myself from the last 3 years when I hadn't used books. And I do have the CPB test in my future here for September, but I don't know how. I haven't been doing the course yet, so it's going to be a crash course and I'm going to just go with it and see what happens.
Janelle, your interview in Healthcare Business Monthly, or in it, you say sometimes you struggle with being the only coder in your surgery center because you don't have a coworker to help you through difficult coding cases. And you talk about how the CASCC credential helps you or is giving you confidence with surgical coding. How else how do you find community? Do you participate with the AAPC Facebook groups, or do you have other communities that is there a local chapter in your area? Do you have a mentor?
I do attend my local chapter, which is not very local, but it is the chapter we have for us. They are over 3 hours away for me, but
Wow.
I have joined their Facebook page. In the last year, I've joined the AAPC Facebook stuff. So, and I watch a lot of other people in surgery center questions and see what they're struggling with. I do use even when you Google, you get the AAPC website, the chat.
Oh, the
I
forums.
can't speak the right. Yep, I do use that a lot and see what people have done in the past. It was nice to go to HealthCon this year and know that I wasn't the only one that's a ASC coder. There are other people out there, so I've used some of that. Google,
Yeah.
But I am just learning along the way. And, when I first started, I did have the other coworker that had done the job previously, and I went to her a lot. She's since left the company. So I feel like AAPC is my go-to all around.
Awesome. Now, Janelle, are you aware that we have a certified members Facebook group?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And for
I'm
those
sure
watching,
I'm on that. So
Yeah, okay.
there's like 3 AAPC ones I think I've seen, and I've
Okay.
joined them. So
All right. Okay. And for those watching, if you're certified, you can join the AAPC certified members group, and that is the place to ask professional questions. So if you're looking for a community where if you're getting stuck in your day-to-day job and have a question, say, maybe your friends in your local chapter can't help, you can post different challenges that you face in there, and it's a great community to get help, to get the help you need. Well, Janelle, thanks so much for sharing your story and taking time out of your day to be with us.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I think thank you guys for everything that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, Lee,
Yes.
what we're talking about, obviously we're talking about Janelle's interview in the magazine. Is there anything that that you especially enjoyed reading or putting together in the July edition of Healthcare Business Monthly?
Yes, we did the chapter of the year spread for the magazine, and that was Bradenton, Florida, if you haven't read your magazine yet. But those are always fun to put together, setting up the photo shoot and getting all the quotes and learning how, all the officers, experience, throughout the 12 months. So that was kind of my favorite thing to put together this month.
Awesome. And we're hoping to get them on for a Facebook Live sometime in the near future.
Oh,
and I'd
good.
love to hear their story. You know, hear
Mhm.
what makes these chapters tick. All right. Well, Lee, is there anything else that you have for us before you take off?
Just wanted to remind everybody, we're always looking for articles. So, if you're thinking of writing, if you've written in the past and haven't in a while, think about it. We take all kinds of topics, from all the different practices, coding, billing, practice management, etc. But also soft skills, test taking, exam, studying tips, communication in an office setting, anything that affects your job in any way. And if you think it could help others, think about writing for us, and you can submit articles right on aapc.com.
Awesome. Lee, I dropped the link to the webpage where someone can submit an article idea.
Perfect.
So that's in there for all of you watching. We hope you will share your expertise with the AAPC family.
Yep.
Thanks for being with us, Lee and Janelle. Janelle, so good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. We'll
Okay,
see
have
you
a good day.
again.
Yes, yeah, we'll do it again.
All right, bye.
See you next
Bye.
time.
All right, guys, that was fun. And now it's funny because after we go to conference and then someone's like, "Oh, I was at conference," I'm like, "Oh man, I wish I could have met you."
Always.
But yes. Well, we do have, we're less than a month away from our next in-person
Ooh.
conference,
Yeah.
and that's in Washington, D.C. for our regional, HealthCon regional. Those are a little more intimate, a little bit smaller by design, so we can address regional needs and just get to know our attendees a little bit better. Now, Rita and Stephanie, you guys will be there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wouldn't
Yep.
miss it.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. That's an easy trip for the both of you.
Yeah. It's about a little over 2 hours for me.
Okay. Stephanie, how far is it from you? Do you fly in or drive in?
Yeah, I have to fly.
Okay.
But it's a quick flight, so it's not too
Good.
bad. So
Good.
direct, which is nice.
Yes. Well, my friend Jessica, who works at AAPC with me, is like, "Hey, Alex, will you like share information about our conferences coming up?" And I'm like, "I just so you know, I was like, send over whatever you have." But we talk about conferences all the time, probably like every broadcast. But here's what she sent over, and I just wanted to give a little overview of what we have going on for everybody watching. Just so you know, and I think Rita and Stephanie could attest to this, but AAPC conferences are a great way to stay on your toes and get up to date on important changes that impacts our industry. You'll earn CEUs and get to meet other like-minded industry professionals. And Janelle really hit the nail on the head with that. Just hearing her attending her first conference recently and having that experience of, wow, I'm not in this alone. I've got all these great people to lean on. We offer a variety of conferences, both in person and virtual, to help fit your educational needs. So here's what you have to look forward to. Our healthcare regional in DC that we're talking about, that is August 7th through 9th. This will be in person only. And through the pandemic, we were doing this hybrid thing. And I think Las Vegas may be that again, but we wanted to make this DC event a little bit more exclusive for those in the region. So that will be in person only, featuring 40 sessions, 30 speakers, and a chance to earn 15 CEUs. Some of the sessions will be about general and specialty coding, inpatient, outpatient facility, billing, auditing, compliance, and so much more. Stephanie, what was your favorite session from Nashville?
Oh God, there's so it's so many. It's so hard to choose. I don't know. Oh my goodness. I can't even put a pin on it because there were
You
so
don't
many.
want someone to feel bad.
I don't exactly. I mean, I was virtually moderating in
Yeah.
those the sessions. So my speakers in my sessions were amazing. So I didn't get to go to like choose my sessions, but I was happy because I was in a really good room, and there was always, I swear, and everyone I talked to, all the other virtual monitors, same thing. They were like, "We had the best speakers." I'm like, "We had the best speakers in our room." So it's always it's great. It's great listening to.
Okay,
them.
I'm gonna ask you like this, so we're
Okay.
on safe grounds. What was there a story or a tip or something from all of the sessions that you saw in your room, something that really stuck out to you? Because I always go back to, I haven't sat in as many sessions as you guys have, but in my brain is Sarah Reagan's husband trucker. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys have seen that presentation.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
But anything just kind of catch your attention?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there was, and I can't remember the name of the speaker, but off the top of my head, which I'm gonna feel bad for because I can't remember. He was in my room, but he spoke all about hernias, and I don't do hernia repair, but man, I learned all about hernia repairs, and I felt like and he was very dynamic, and I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but he was very. Well, now I'm gonna have to go look up in my book and find what his name. But he was amazing, and he just taught again for making subjects that sometimes are a little boring. It's nice to have somebody that can be so dynamic and exciting and help you learn all about hernias, which you never thought you'd ever want to know about hernias, but I had to learn.
Then you go back to work and you're like, come on, someone give me a hernia.
I know.
Case record.
I love learning new things. That's the big thing. It's like anytime
Yeah.
I get to learn something new. There was, some of the speakers are just amazing with their just the way they brought in. We had one that had had to go find, it was like an app kind of thing. So you had to go find, it was about communications with your practice managers and with staff, and Jean was really great. Jean Pryor did this one about, she was talking about how, your employees and getting engagement and tracking employees, and it was just things that I don't think about. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And I'm like, oh, I got to take that back. And so it's just, you get these little nuggets. Every speaker has a good little nugget to share. And so networking, that's such a big thing about conferences. It's the networking and learning from these people and like-minded individuals, like you said.
Yes.
So I can tell you from my perspective, so I was a speaker's liaison, and I was also in a room that I would have not chosen any one of those topics except one. So it was a lot of fun for me because I got to have those little tidbits as well. And there was a couple that stood out. I mean, Nate Felt, who did radiology, I mean, he had a different perspective. He was an athletic trainer. So that was really amazing. And violence in the workplace was a fantastic session. That was the first session on a Monday, which was just really interactive as well. And I love Bevan's introductions. I love when Bevan starts the conference out. I think he has so much information and just has a different take on things. And I think that, you really get to see into AAPC when he talks and then he introduces everyone out for the rest of the conference. So I think that that's a big piece of it too. The general sessions add a lot. We've had some different ones in Nashville, which I thought was fantastic. And I think we all love that networking piece. We all like that interactive piece. And, some sessions that we do want to see and we get information from people that we go see that are frequent speakers, and then just having a lot of new speakers and seeing what they're about was amazing as well.
Absolutely. And for those watching, I see so many of our friends that we saw at conference in here, and I mentioned them earlier. But hey, guys, if you're watching, post and you were in Nashville, post what a few of your favorite sessions were in the comments. We'd love to hear about that. Now, there are a few other conferences coming up that are exclusively virtual, so kind of flipping the pendulum to the other way. But the end of August 29th and 30th, we have the Collaborative Compliance Conference, and I think Michael Misko, our former NAB or National Advisory Board president, I think he's heavily involved with that. But this features 2 tracks, 14 sessions, bringing information and updates in HIPAA, and security, best practices for observation, coding and billing regulations, and physician financial relationships. If you work in or around medical compliance, you won't want to miss that. We have DocuCon with September 19th and 20th, 2 tracks, 16 sessions, everything you need to know about clinical documentation improvement, from implementing a successful CDI program to boosting provider engagement, handling provider queues, et cetera, et cetera. So much information there. And finally, AuditCon coming November 8th and 9th, 12 CEUs, 3 tracks, 23 sessions. So this is great for anybody looking to get into auditing. There's a beginner track to give you in-depth information on the audit process and best practices. And then there are 2 advanced tracks for those experienced auditors. So you can find those on our website, check them out. There's so much happening and so many great events and education. And I'd say this, like, if you are thinking about a new path, let's say you're coding and you're thinking, I want to be an auditor or compliance manager or whatever it may be, I would recommend that you sign up for our mentorship program. So, and we can connect you with a professional in that field, and they can kind of guide you along in that. Rita, Stephanie, do either of you participate in the mentor program? Are you guys mentees?
I'm a mentor.
Or mentor, sorry. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a couple of mentees.
All right.
I
Rita?
think it's a great program. I think because not everyone is lucky enough to have someone within their environment that could be their mentor. And I always talk about my journey with my mentors and how they helped me get to where I am today. Even mentoring someone about the way you present yourself, the way you speak, how you interview is really important, not only about what your knowledge base is in your career, but in the way that you represent yourself is critical as well. So I think it's a really great program. A lot of us are even mentoring people outside that program that are in our chapters and so forth. So I think that, if somebody's willing to do it, put yourself out there, because it really does go a long way. And I always say that we have to support our community. We have to give back to our community, because we are where we are today because of the AAPC community that we're part of.
Yes, absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, and even like for someone like Janelle, like she's looking for people that are, having, she had the mentor that left, and so again, someone like her looking for someone out there. That's why that Mentor City is really helpful. Maybe you have the experience with ASC and coding, and you're like, hey, I could help another coder, and we could she wants to help grow or learn or network. It can be different things for different people. It's mentors and mentee, the relationship. I have mentors. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep growing. Like, you learn about hernia, you never know when that might come in handy. So you never know. So you keep growing, and that's the idea behind all these getting your CEUs, and is to keep learning and keep growing and keep expanding your knowledge base, so that you can help others. And because that nugget that you learned in HealthCon a year ago might come in handy. You never know, a few years from now.
Yeah.
And the conference experience, the conference experience in itself, like you connect with people who become mentors, who become the people that you rely on for questions and for, decisions, like career changing decisions. I mean, if you connect with people and you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking of, they're going to give you their sound advice about what they've been through, the obstacles that they've gone through, and basically like how they can help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah. Hey, this is for Wanda Brown. Thanks for being with us, Wanda. She asks, is the mentorship program through the local chapter? It is not. I dropped a link in the comments. If you scroll to the last comment, I put a link there. The page gives an overview of the program. You must be logged into your AAPC account to register. So you're not going to see that registration link on the page that I sent you the link to. You're not going to see the registration page for the mentorship program unless you're logged into your account. So make sure you've done that. This is free to all members. take advantage of it. Wanda, I don't know what your plans are, but yeah, you could, Stephanie or Rita might just become your mentor, and then you'll hear Stephanie talk about hernias.
No, oncology.
Oh, okay.
I can't mentor on hernias.
Okay. Sorry.
That's both of us in oncology. So.
I know we both can do oncology.
Management and management professionalism. So yeah.
It's you never know.
Hey, you guys, I asked Janelle about her first interaction with AAPC, going back to our 35th anniversary. I'm kind of curious about you guys and your experience. Rita, tell us about your first interaction with AAPC, and were you working in healthcare prior to that? Did like healthcare lead you to AAPC, or did a career change lead you to seeking to learn about medical coding and this side of healthcare, which led you to AAPC? How did that journey go?
Well, I'm an oldie but goodie, you know that, right? So I've been around a long time. I actually joined AAPC in 1999. So I had graduated from college looking for a job, and my primary care physician said, come work for me. So I went to work for a primary care physician, solo practitioner. And if you've ever been in that environment, you learn everything. So I always make a joke about, like, we used to write the HCFA forms out, and, we would make our own deposits and schedule in that big book. Well, that is actually what we did. Through my journey, and I rose to different departments and different organizations. When I got to orthopedics and I really started to delve into coding per se, because a lot of the regulations started to come out, more payers were out there. And I started to become fascinated with it. And I had a leader who was had a lot of faith in me and said, listen, I think you could do this. So I looked up online things about coding, and AAPC popped up. So I joined the membership. My first conference was when I went to Minneapolis many moons ago. And I started my journey with AAPC there. And then several years later, although I attended my local chapter for meetings, I started to get extremely involved and become a local chapter officer, and then started my journey within national office as well, by being on several boards over the years, and being an I-10 trainer and doing all that great stuff. So for me, it was a parallel process at that point, a juncture in 1999 I was in healthcare, I was vested in what I was doing, and getting that organization support and feel, and also getting the networking going as well. So I have done a lot over the years where I am today. I'm director of revenue cycle business operations for a cancer center. I've done a lot of my life in oncology, but have had other specialties as well. But the reason why I'm here and my role is not only from my mentors, but from the support I have from the AAPC. If someone would have told me years ago that this is what I'd be doing, I say, no, you're crazy. What am I going to do in healthcare? Not knowing the business side was there and how much there was to do in it, but also from a personal journey to rise up the ladder and know a lot of the areas that I supervise. I know their jobs. I help them, I'm part of the team, right? And when you're a leader, that doesn't disappear. But that's how my journey began. And when you start to get more and more involved with AAPC, a lot of doors start to open. And I do thank AAPC for all they've done for me in my career. I would have never written an article. I would have never spoken in front of hundreds of people. I would have never done virtual or been able to get back to the community the way I wanted to. So that was my entry point into AAPC, and seen a lot of changes over the years for the better. The organization grow by leaps and bounds, and really trying to keep up with the times, which has been phenomenal, which I think is shown what AAPC's dedication is to our profession.
Awesome. Thanks, Rita. You've had an amazing journey.
Yeah.
As has Stephanie. Stephanie, what was your first interaction with AAPC, and tell us about that journey?
Yeah, I was back 2009, so 10 years after Rita was a member, I became a member. But I was working in healthcare, and the CPC was like ooh, like that was the hot thing. And like, if you could pass that exam, because that's really a tough exam, and if you could learn, this could be a gateway, like to learn more. And I was in the billing department. Like I like Rita, I kind of explored a lot of different of jobs, within the department. I was front desk, and then I went in billing, and then I was, and I was like, oh, so this is the coding piece of it. And again, we were a lot and back then before we went paperless. So that was just as it was getting to be more paperless. And I really wanted to learn more, and I didn't again, I took a course that was PMCC certified, through AAPC and at the time, and I took the course in person. It was like a 3-month course, and then that kind of led to, again, networking. And then I was going to my local chapter, and I was starting to get involved with local chapter, and just meeting the people that was training me. They were my mentors, and they were excellent, as far as to help me. This is what you could do. What about auditing? And so that brought me right into auditing from right after I passed CBC. I learned about auditing, and I started auditing my providers and learning about that piece, and going online and talk through the forums and networking and meeting other people. And that was really, really invaluable piece. It was just the meeting people and the connections that I was making. And of course, it's how, as my roles transcended, I went from biller to coding specialist, auditor, to, compliance manager now. And so again, anything that I have grown has been because I think AAPC gave me the confidence, that I didn't have before. That they gave me confidence to go after more things that I wanted, to learn more. I wasn't just pigeonholed and saying, I'm just a biller, I'm just an auditor. I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to know everything, so that I could be more well-rounded, to help out, to do all these different jobs, to be able to cross-train between many different jobs, so that I can be of service and be of value. And then AAPC, again, you got to start your local chapter. That's so important. I was president of my local chapter, and then the more you're involved there, you're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff that AAPC does, and I didn't know. You didn't know, and you don't know until you're there, and then you're like, wow, okay. And then once, again, the giving back, like Rita says, is so, hosting those exams, making sure that people are being able to be certified and giving back, and then joining the NAB and articles and the presentations and being on Facebook Lives. These are all wonderful things that I couldn't, I never in a million years would have thought that would happen for me. And I'm just so thankful that I have been given an opportunity. I'm so humble to be part of this and to meet these people that are just extraordinary individuals that if you want to put an ounce of effort into it, AAPC is going to help you get to where you want to go. If you want to put the effort and you want to say, hey, I want a little bit more, I want to help out, I want to give back, I want to be part of this amazing journey. I think AAPC does listen, and from my whole experience, I wouldn't be where I am without them, and I am thankful to them. And I'm not sitting here like being paid advertising. It's not happening. This is true story. I mean, my life, where I was and where I'm at and where I want to be, it just never would have gotten there without AAPC.
I do the
Totally
same
agree.
things. I believe so deeply in what we do, and I don't ever want it to sound like a sales pitch, but the same thing, but I interact with, as well as the two of you, with members every day whose lives have changed because of their career path, and AAPC's been able to help with that, which has been amazing. Now, as the both of you have spoken, I thought about the different NAB members that there are, not only now, but in the past, and just our membership in general. And it's, well, you guys know this, that our demographic is, it leans highly towards the women.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, because this is what came to mind as you guys were speaking, was that the opportunities that AAPC gives to women to be leaders and have leadership roles, not only nationally, regionally, but also locally. Does that mean anything to you guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's that confidence, right? You know, if
Yeah.
you meet other leaders in the industry that are like-minded, whether they be male or female, but you know, especially female, like again, having a voice, having somebody I can be like, hey, does this make sense? Or being able to, before I bring it to my leaders, making sure that I can bounce it off somebody and say, hey, Rita, can I talk to you about this? Or, you know, I think that's so important. Listening to other women leaders helps you be a better leader too. I think like going and listening to them speak, presentations, like I mean, going to listen to Rita present is, you know, you learn something from that. You take away something to help you grow in how you're going to address people and making sure that it's not just, you know, blowing smoke. We don't want to do that.
I agree with Stephanie. Like when, you know, I push people to do things, right? So there's some people in this chat that I've done that with and said, listen, you'd be great at doing this. Why don't I help you? Like, let's think about this. Like, you know, you can speak at a conference, you can write an article. But for my personal journey in itself, like, I mean, I was 49 and a half years old when I changed, you know, locate, like I was in a hospital for 23 years. So when I decided to jump and say, okay, I want to go to another cancer center and bring my knowledge to the cancer center, I called people, like I called Rhonda Buckles, I called Betty Hovey, I called Brenda, I called like my friends, you know, to say, you know, Ruby Woodward, I say, listen, this is what I'm thinking about. Do you think I'm crazy? You know, and getting that advice and support to say, you rock. Like I'll never forget Annie Boynton, you know, she called me, she's like, you rock, you can do this, you know, you can do this. And that really increases that confidence. When you hear that from someone that you respect, that is, you know, in the same arena as you, and that you're like, yeah, I can do this and move forward. You know, it was the same thing when I made the decision to go back to get my MHA, right? That wasn't easy at the age of 54, right? But I think that that's the thing. Like, we are here to be your cheerleaders. We are here to say, we can do this. If you need help, I am only a phone call away. I'm only an email away, which is really important because, you know, our previous, you know, in yesteryear, and I talk about this in some of my sessions, in yesteryear, when the leader was a female, you know, you were looked at as, you know, emotional instead of direct and passionate. But when you are interacting with other leaders like that, you know that you're doing the right thing and that you are, you know, expressing things the right way. And I think that that's what's so important.
Yes, I love it. Thank you both for sharing that. Sarah Reagan, it speaks to you, Rita. Just, I think this is in regards to when you said pushing. Some people, and some are in this chat here. But Sarah says, yes, Rita, I'm an example of you doing that. So you've given her a little nudge, I suppose.
Yeah. So when I talked to Sarah, I presented at her chapter, and she's probably better at talking this than me, but I presented a chapter and she told me about her trucker's presentation. And I said, okay, you're going to do it in Philadelphia for me. So I had her speak in Philly, and I said to her, you need to do this at regional. You need to apply to regionals. And she did it. And I was so happy. And she's just blossomed from that.
Yeah, I love it. Lady Martinez, who I'm sure the two of you have met,
Yes.
such an
Yes.
amazing story, and we
I
need to
just met
give her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, I'm so thankful to be a part of the AAPC family. My life had changed so much since I became a member. I came from Mexico. I had to put myself out there to get better at what I do. And that's what I love. You guys, I mean, it's a constant evolution. You guys are always seeking to learn and grow, and you have to, or because the industry keeps moving.
Right.
You have to move with it. But she says AAPC gives so many opportunities, and I've met so many people who have helped me to embrace and uplift me. So I love it. I have to mention this, Stephanie, this comment from Stephanie Coding. Is that your real last name, Stephanie? But she says, this is the push I need to finish my CPC course. Thank you. So Stephanie, like, I feel like this is the reality of starting your career. So it is it is a grind to study for and pass the exam, and then you are elated for a day or a week or a few weeks, but then it starts over again, with that grind to find a job, and you have to put just as much heart and soul into that process as you did with your studies for the certification exam. And I would recommend starting now, checking out our YouTube channel, look at the I Am AAPC interviews, and there's a new series called Starting Points. There are playlists in the channel, but you can glean ideas on how to find your first job from that. Go into our Facebook group, ask questions there, but you'll see that everybody's journey is a little bit different. There's no formula for finding that first job, but there are a lot of great ideas, and you put them all together, and you have something amazing on your hands.
Yeah,
I think the key of this is passion. If you love what you do, you have drive, and you're willing to accept feedback. I think there are the three critical things that to push you along your career.
exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Hey,
you
Wanda Brown is
Yeah.
also a fairly new member, she says. So for both of you, and we're going to wrap up with this. So Stephanie, starting with you, if you had advice for Wanda and Stephanie, who are just, it sounds like they are in their course, or maybe is working on their CPCs, it says. So both of them are working on their CPC certifications. What advice would you give to them? They're green-eyed, excited about this career path. Inspire them, Stephanie.
I'm going to inspire. I set goals. I'm such a goal setter. That's what I do. So even if it's a small goal, you're working on your CPC. So if you got to say, I'm going to just complete so many hours every week, and then I'm going to check that off, right? So start small. Don't feel like you got to bite off the whole thing, and just start and be like, I'm going to set, this is my study time every week. I'm going to set this goal, and I'm going to study. I'm going to do this every single week. And then once you get that off, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to set your exam and get that done. And then once you pass, it's just like, it's again, the conditioning yourself. You're conditioning yourself to keep up on everything that you're learning, because you don't want to just become complacent. So set small goals and check them off as you do them. If you like lists, cross them off as I got chapter blah 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 done, I got this chapter done, I got this chapter done. And then once you pass your exam, then it's to be like, okay, now I've got to go apply to these places, and I'm going to apply to not just one place, I'm going to apply to multiple different places. I'm going to look out, I'm going to network, I'm going to put it on my LinkedIn, I'm going to do all these different things I gotta do. I'm going to promote myself as best as I can, and I think that's just one of the things that I just keep. And then once you get a job, you're like, okay, now I'm gonna learn more. I'm gonna make sure I make it an effort that I'm gonna make sure I'm heading to my local chapter every month, or the virtual meeting or something, so that I'm keeping my mind in there in the game. It's not just, oh, I got past my certification, see you later, I'm not gonna learn anything more. You just want to keep on learning and keep doing it, and set yourself like, you've committed yourself, right? You committed your time. You're committed as a member. You're committing yourself to this. You said, I want to be a certified coder. And now you've got to put the time and effort, energy into that. And if you get complacent, just, give me a call, and I'll give you the boot that you need, and I'm going to help you and just keep going. And you've got this, Wanda and Stephanie coding.
Okay, Rita, what do you have for them?
I agree with Stephanie, but here's the other thing. Don't give up. If this is really what you want to do, don't give up. And it's okay not to be an expert at everything. Those of you that know me, when I taught I-10, I used to come out and say, cardiology, I don't like cardiology. It's like a mental block for me, right? But it's okay, because I have people that work in cardiology that I can ask questions for, right? So it's okay to find your niche, right? What do I really like? What do I want to do oncology? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do inpatient? But don't give up. Like, people sometimes, even if your first go around at the exam doesn't go well, it's okay. You got another try. And then what happens is then you'll see what your weak points are and what you need to really concentrate on. So it's important, and it's important to surround yourself with people that maybe are in the field, that are CPCs, that can help you and educate you on certain things. And the other most important thing is get your foot in the door, right? If it's a call center position, if it's medical records, if it's an authorization specialist, get your foot in the door, because you're going to learn a lot more doing those functions and understanding CPT and disease bases and everything like that. And that's going to help you get past that point to pass your CPC as well.
I love it. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Stephanie. And I just like to throw in, I am not a coder. I've never been through the initiation of passing the CPC. And if that'd be scary. You guys have been through so much, but I do speak with coders every day, and I've seen so many different journeys, and I know so many resources. So Wanda, Stephanie, if there's if you feel stuck, or at any point, tomorrow or 6 months down the road, feel free to reach out to me at the AAPC Alex Facebook account. And then I'd be happy to kind of just throw resources at you and give you a little pep talk. So the funny and maybe frustrating thing about social media, while it's amazing with so many great resources, sometimes people are more vocal about the negative things than they are the positive. And that's just the nature of the internet, I think, if you look on comments anywhere. But I can tell you there are so many positive stories of people getting that first job and having decades-long careers in the business of healthcare. So, and Lori, our friend Lori says, Alex, I'll help you get certified.
Oh, that's so sweet of her.
I know.
Yeah, but definitely remember, we're all family. We're here to help each other, and that's the big thing. I mean, I've never been around a group of women or men that want to be your cheerleader, right? So that's the big thing, and that's what AAPC does for you. And so remember that you can reach out and you can get a mentor, even if you're not certified yet. You can, you think about do a mentor, find a mentor.
Hey, in fact. Yeah, I would say, you guys, if you're watching and have not created a LinkedIn account, create a LinkedIn account, make it as professional as you can, and put every job you've had, maybe within the last decade, give or take, right? And it doesn't matter if it was food industry or whatever, but just put and show that you were responsible, have a great work ethic, all of those things. And then I'd connect with Stephanie and Rita on LinkedIn. And
yeah.
I would connect with everybody in this group, because there are so many amazing people. Lady, Lori, Kathy, Parker. There's so many people that can help lift you, because it's a roller coaster, right? Success is not a straight path. It has ebbs and flows, and sometimes you need a little pep talk. And just seeing our friends post on their LinkedIn accounts, it can be inspiring and maybe get you over the hump. So, all right. Rita, Stephanie, thank you so much. This is a lot of fun. I knew it would be. You guys are so great to have on.
What? The hour's already gone? What?
Yes.
That flew by.
Flew. All right.
You're welcome. Hey, just
Always
so everybody
pleasure.
knows, real quick, you can watch us or listen to this on the podcast, the AAPC podcast. Just look for the AAPC podcast. This will get posted shortly in the next day or two, and we'll post this on our YouTube channel. It will also live on our Facebook channel. So check it out there. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and then that puts us right up against DC, and we'll see each other in person. So. Okay, hey, Stephanie, Rita, hang on with me. Everybody, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great July. See you, everybody.